Hello, welcome to Eye on the Biz, a weekly English language program of international, regional, and domestic events and casual business talk. Today, I'm in Lopburi, where you can see around me. This is the monument of Somdet Panarai Maharaj, a landmark of Lopburi. Today, Eye on the Biz will bring you to a project in this province where they use biomass to generate electricity. What this project does is they plant fast-growing tree, also known as energy crop. This kind of tree is acacia. The species came from Australia, which grows faster than our domestic species. Please follow me to the projects which run by A+ Power Company Limited.
This overview.
Eye on the Biz is now at the office of A+ Power Company Limited, which is trying to generate electricity from a process known as biomass gasification. The company grows acacia, a fast-growing tree, to burn it in reactors to get biogas to run generators. This species of acacia is originated in Australia, known as Talamba, which grows faster than the local species in Thailand. In the process to plant the tree, workers start putting a few seeds of Talamba in small bags of soil to get the sprout. The seedlings will be allowed to grow for 2 to 3 months before planting it onto the ground. It takes only 14 months for the tree to grow to be ready for its first logging. Workers will cut it into logs, which then will be processed into wood chips. These wood chips will be fed into reactors. In burning them to get the gas, the gas will go through process of cleaning before using it to drive generators. The project here is the first to grow acacia in a major scale to use it as the fuel to generate electricity. However, it is quite unfortunate that the company still cannot run its generators, as it still awaits various permits from the government. This is the case despite the fact that the project has been helping many farmers in the neighborhoods to make a living by growing the acacias for sale and by working for the company. Please join me in the beach chat.
Eyes on A-Bits, a casual business TV talk show that takes you to international, regional, and domestic events. Stay updated on digitalization, information and communication technology, alternative and renewable energy, and media issues. Stay tuned with Eyes on A-Bits. Premiere on Saturday at 11 p.m. on MCOT World. This chat.
Hello, Dr. Tawarat. Thanks for joining Eye on the Biz again. Today we are at a nursery of the water plant that we call acacia, which is a fast-growing plant that they use as a fuel to burn to get the gas to generate electricity. Can you tell our program what is the prospects of using biomass to produce electricity in Thailand?
This particular facility in Lopburi, it's a very first pilot project that we try to monitor the new concept of biomass to power in Thailand. Previously, Thailand is focusing on turning or recycling the agriculture waste into electricity. Our agriculture waste come from our farm commodities such as rice husk from the rice industry, bagasse from sugar and sugarcane industry, palm oil waste such as the empty fruit bunch from the palm oil industry. All those could turn into electricity. Right now we have approximately 2,000 megawatts of those, I would say, conventional biomass power plant. But at this moment we are monitoring the new concept and which is aiming to elevate the biomass industry in Thailand. The new concept including the dedicated fast-growing crops. Dedicated fast-growing crop in European countries they would call energy crops, such as acacia like this. They are fast-growing and then you can cut and then feed into a dedicated small power plant. We also try to promote the fast-growing glasses like Napier glass, banana glass that could fermented into biogas and that could turn into electricity as well. But this type of new concept, by back integrating the power plant into the energy crop plantations is a new concept, which we could leverage or distribute the profit margin all the way of the value chains. So we could make sure that the farmers who grow the energy crop could earn more money, and then by selling their biomass to the power plant, and then the power plant could produce electricity at the expected margin, not too much, not too small, and then the benefit could be distributed among the value chains. This particular site is developed by one of our respected Buddhist monk, พระคุณธรรมลักษณ์ เจ้าคุณอลงกรณ์ Long time ago, he tried to promote many CSR projects in Lopburi, including the HIV remediation center. But he also tried to go to the grassroots of the HIV victims that they need some kind of money or need some kind of job to make sure that they can survive on normal life. So he created a small project in which try to grow a small plantation of acacia and feed into a small, very small power technology, power plant, and try to sell the electricity to the national grid. Set up a small company. This company is aimed not to gain much profit, but to make sure that the farmer who subscribe as a shareholders to the company could get some benefit back from the plantations. So I think this is a new concept. So the Ministry of Energy, in turn, we welcome this kind of development, and we would like to monitor if this could be a successful model. We could replicate and disseminate it elsewhere.
You have mentioned a few other plants that use at what you call energy plant, like some of the glass you mentioned.
Yeah.
What are the prospect of, what we standing, or we have around here, acacia? What are the prospect of this kind of plant?
Each plant has pros and cons. Acacia is a fast-growing crop. You can cut, and very little maintenance. They need not much water. They don't need much fertilizer, and it could suit to be an alternative crop to the cassava or sugarcane in some area. So this could be an option for the farmer in many places in Thailand. But there are some limitations as well. For example, you need some kind of machine to cut it down, bring it out, chop it up, and then feed into the plant. But if there is some capital, some investment, those limitations can be eradicated.
Can you explain a bit more a few plants you mentioned earlier, those gases that you ferment and you get the gas from the fermentation?
Yes, it's a different process. The acacia that we are looking at now, using the gasification process in which you put heat sources and you burn the acacia in the superheat model, very high heat temperature, and then you get the synthetic gas, and that gas could turn the generator, produce electricity. And the Napier and Barnard glasses is different types of technology. Those are biomass with a lot of moisture content, so we need to ferment it, we not burn them, and let the fermentation process produce some what we call a biogas, which is a methane, and the methane could feed into the gas engine and produce electricity as well. So different kind of process produce different kind of gas, but both of them could generate power, electricity, and feed into the grid.
Can you said in terms of the efficiencies and productivities between the fermentation process and this kind of burning with high heat?
Well, I think it's similar. Right now, from what I have been informed in Thailand, the practices of both biogas and biomass gasification has similar efficiency. However, the biogas methodology has less maintenance, the machine are less complex, less complicated, but the gasification has involving a big machine, gasification boiler, sizable machine. So it needs a decent technician to operate and maintenance. But I guess both of technology are suitable to our country, but which location it depends. If you have dry biomass, the biomass gasification are much better. But if you have wet biomass, biogas fermentation is better.
Okay, so this is one source of alternative energy in Thailand. How about comparing to other source of alternative energy, like solar and
wind and
wind,
others? Yeah. Well, once again, I would like to illustrate my point that renewable energy in Thailand, the mainstream is the biomass, because we are agriculture waste economy. So we have a lot of agriculture waste, but also we have a lot of productive area in which we could turn or recycle those areas into the energy clubs. The energy club is planning not to cut into the food chain process. We do believe that food is our priority. Food production is our priority. But there are some areas that sometimes you produce certain food product too much. The prices coming down. So we need to find some stabilization mechanism in which we think that the energy club is one of the options to help stabilizing the farm commodities in our country. The mainstream renewable energy in Thailand is bio-based energy. Agriculture waste is our first priority. The dedicated biomass to power or biomass to liquid fuel is our secondary option. But I guess both of them can be complementary.
Thank you very much, Dr. Thavarat, for joining Eye on the Biz today. I hope that we will talk to you again in the future. Thank you very much.
ขอบคุณครับขอบคุณครับ
Eyes on ABITS, a casual business TV talk show that takes you to international, regional, and domestic events. Stay updated on digitalization, information and communication technology alternative and renewable energy, and media issues. Stay tuned with Eyes on 8-Bits. Premiere on Saturday at 11 p.m. on MCOT World. Biz Chat.
Mr. Mendel, thanks very much for joining Eye on Biz program today. Since you have been involved with the development of alternative energy in Thailand, what do you think is the most viable source of alternative source of energy in Thailand, and why?
Well, Khun Sin, first of all, thank you very much for having me over. And as we had discussed before, Thailand has a lot of resources on the alternative energy resource, from the alternative energy resource perspective. You've got wind, biomass, solar. There's a lot of development that's actually happening in Thailand right now. So from that perspective, when we talk about a technology being viable or unviable, it has a lot to do with three different factors. Again, like we had discussed before. One is the resource, the other is the capital cost, and third is the regulatory environment, among others. Within Thailand, the regulatory environment is actually structured to support all three, but some are more positive than others. The capital cost actually goes up and down with the international pricing, which is not really dependent on Thailand. So we don't really have a control on it. And from a resource perspective, we think the solar resource is pretty decent. Biomass is abundant, but wind is, Thailand is a low wind speed country. So depending on any time of the day or a point of time, each of those technologies would be considered viable or unviable. From IFC's perspective, we actually consider each of those technologies as viable for investment and are looking at them as we speak.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Today you have visited what they said, the largest wind farm in Thailand.
Uh-huh.
What do you think about the prospect of the wind energy in Thailand in particular?
Well, that is actually a very interesting question. Again, like we had discussed before, I come from the wind sector. So wind is very close to my heart on a personal note, but is also something that IFC has been concentrating on. Now, we actually see the wind sector as having a very positive outlook in Thailand, even though there is a low wind speed regime. This comes from a couple of different, comes through because of a couple of different reasons. One is that we've got low wind speed turbines, which are available in the market and which the manufacturers are bringing to Thailand. Case in point, the wind farm that we saw earlier today. Second, there are pockets of resources which developers are developing and are getting to the finish line. Third is the feed-in tariff or the adder that the government is putting on, which makes these projects viable. So we see this sector in a very positive light. And we actually see the entire wind sector evolving and developing as we go further along. Currently, there is roughly, after the project that we saw today, about 200 megawatts of installed capacity. But from what I understand, there is a very large amount of wind energy that's being developed in Thailand. And we, through our efforts along with the Ministry of Energy, are planning to actually bolster that even more. So all in all, we are very positive about it.
So when you said you're going to plan to bolster the wind energy here, what is in your mind?
Well, this is a project that IFC has actually put together along with the climate trust funds and with the support of the Canadian government. And we are working with DEDE, also the Ministry of Energy, to work on the regulatory environment that we see, or the issues in the regulatory environment that we've got feedback on from the industry. So we have been engaged with different parts of the industry, with different stakeholders, and we have been working with them to figure out what their issues are. After we've understood their issues, we've been working with DEDE to figure out how we can start addressing those issues, whether it be through law or whether it be through creating structures which can work with the current regulatory regime. So all in all, that's the plan, and it's a 2 to 3 year project, and that's what we put together. And now we are in the implementation stage, and hopefully within the next 2 to 3 years, we would start seeing some results.
Has IFC, which you represent, provide any financial assistance to any alternative energy project in Thailand so far?
From IFC's perspective, climate change is one of the pillars that we believe in. And as you know, IFC is part of the World Bank Group. We do come from the mindset of the development institutions, where the focus is to address different issues, and climate change is a very key one. In climate change, renewable energy is also a very important area for us. Thailand, of course, as always, has been a focus country for us. We have been working in Thailand for a pretty long period of time. We've been supporting the alternative energies in Thailand. In Thailand, we have actually worked with, internationally we worked with a lot of different companies, and some of them are actually active in Thailand. To name two, one is SunEdison and the other is the Solar Power Group that we've been actively working with, and they have been actively developing projects in Thailand. We are, of course, looking at biomass projects. We are looking at other solar projects and other wind projects as we speak as well. So to answer your question, yes, we have been active in this market, and we hope to be here in the near future as well.
And you have, IFC have put certain investment on the two companies you just mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's correct. So we've worked with both of those companies as equity in SunEdison's parent company, but as on the project level with SPG as well.
I just wonder, globally speaking, can we say that any source of alternative energy is more commercially viable than the other? Or it just depends on the situation of each country by country?
Khun Sinfa, I think you've answered the question because frankly speaking, it is so dependent on the resource and the regulatory environment and also the entire value chain that is present in that particular country, that it's very hard to pinpoint any one resource. In some countries, wind is the most commercially viable solution, especially when you're comparing it with fossil fuel. In other countries, solar has actually come to the forefront. In some others, it's geothermal. Hydro, of course, has been there for a very long time and is very commercially viable. So it depends. So unfortunately, I can't pinpoint any one technology.
After you've been working with Thailand and other countries in the region, would you say that Thailand is currently a leader of developing alternative energy in Southeast Asia?
It depends a lot on the definition of Southeast Asia, but
Southeast Asia means the 10 countries of member of ASEAN.
Yep. No, definitely Thailand is leading in a variety of different resources. Some of the other countries are doing much better in others, but all in, I think Thailand has taken very positive steps and is considered to be at the forefront, especially for solar, compared to a lot of other countries. We are seeing developments in most of these technologies in the other countries as well, but we will see what the future holds. Currently, I would put Thailand as one of the leaders for sure.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mendel, for joining Eye on the Biz today. I hope that our program will be able to have you with us again in the near future.
I look forward to it, Khun Sunpan. Thank you very much.
Eye on the Biz broadcasts every Saturday from 11 to 11:30 p.m. on MCOT World. It reruns every Monday and Thursday from 9:30 to 10 p.m. on the same channel. We promise you that we will bring you more interesting subjects and events to our program here. You can also follow us, our Facebook page and YouTube. Thanks for spending your time with us.